In this case, we have Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. And it is one of my favorite books of all time. This is the funniest book I have ever read. Just like you might look at the cover and you're like, "Oh, well, this is pretty nice. This must be an upbeat book. This might be something fun." But then you start reading and you're like, "Oh no. Yeah, this one is a big yikes." Right? Catch-22. It's legendary. Okay, this is something that will never be another one like it. Never. Okay, that's how genius it is. And some say, at some places it's kind of boring. I agree with that, but the rest of it just makes up for it. Okay, there are dull parts in this, but overall, this book is a delight. And there are some dark moments in here that just, they go under the radar almost. It's like these pilots, they just die like flies, and then others come along and you get to know them a little bit, and the next day they drop like flies as well. It's like this wasn't a good profession, bro. This was wartime, right? Shit, these things happen every day. And there's so much to say about this. Of course, the humor is in a league of its own because it's not just funny. Okay, this is what I would like to call uh, George Carlin level of comedy, where it is not only funny, not only dark, but it actually reveals, these truths that we don't like to admit. You know, this and George Carlin is my favorite comedian slash philosophers, and this book is similar to his to his way of performing almost. It's in that kind of in that it has that caliber of just intelligence and wit and brutal truth exposed right in front of you, but it comes wrapped in a package of comedy, which is brilliant. And there's a lot to say about this. There, again, this is one of those rare books where the story is pretty all right. You can't complain about the story. All right, it's about pilots. What did you expect? It's about the military. It's like, you know, but it's the story is all right, and the characters in here are just so, you know, they're distinct. You know who is who. You know what they're about. They stand out. They're iconic. They're memorable. Each and every one. Even though some of them are, I dislike them a little bit. Regardless, not a lot of writers can manage both a pretty decent story and a cast of just memorable characters. Pretty much, it's either the story is amazing, but the characters lack, or it's the other way around. Not a lot of writers can pull out both aspects of a book, story and character. And even the some of the characters' names are just, one guy, his name is Shaiskov, which means shithead, and the other guy, his name is Major Major, but then he actually becomes a major, and then he is referred to as Major Major Major, and then somehow he becomes Major 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 Major, and so on. It's like to infinity. He's Major to infinity, and it's just hilarious. Some people complain about, the comedy is a bit repetitive, and even the story is a bit repetitive, and it doesn't really go anywhere. But this book, it has its faults, but it's still a wonderful read. It's like it keeps you gripped, and there might not be action in this at certain points, but it's just like, the comedy, it just makes up for it, because it's not just jokes splattered here and there. There's an intelligence to this, there's a wit to this. It's not just, let's call this guy Major Major and that's it. There's more to it. you know these guys go on missions, on bombing missions. It's like, okay, everybody has to do 20 missions, and then you can go on, what's it called, private leave or something like that. And just when you think Yosarian is gonna, he has done 19 missions, and just before he can do his 20th mission and just go on leave, because this war is really just making him crazy. He can't take it anymore, all of this killing. And just before he can go, a superior comes along and says, well, you know what, times are tough, we gotta buckle up, and now you gotta do 30 missions. And then guess what, he does 30 missions, and then another superior comes and he says, guess what, times are tough, you gotta buckle up, suck it up, we're gonna have 40 missions now, and so on and so forth. And of course, here comes the catch-22, because if he pretends to be sick, then they know that he's sick, so he can't leave. But if he is sick, he also cannot leave. And this catch-22, this, what do you call it, this paradox, this absurd rule, it's just scattered throughout this book, where you understand that this world is this, of course, this is a about the military, and the military is pretty absurd, but this author, Joseph, he takes it to another extreme of the surreal, almost absurd surrealism, where it's just, it keeps going and going, and you think, okay, it cannot get even sillier than this, but it does. And I know I had experience where I thought, this is pretty silly in real life, but it just got worse. And this book is alike in that sense. The absurd hilarity, it just never stops. It never stops. And, this is one of my favorite quotes, Yosarian, he just flat out says to his superior officers, you guys, you are a bunch of sons of bitches. We do all these missions, a lot of us die, and, we just want some fucking vacation time. We just want to go and have a drink, and we want to leave. And, his superiors, this is a juicy one. They say, well, Yosarian, dear me, you can do whatever you want. This isn't a fucking dictatorship, You're free to do whatever you want, as long as you do what we tell you to do. Okay? And this is just peak. This is a peak silliness that they have the balls to tell this guy right in his face something like this. And I had these experiences in real life where people are just, yeah, sure, but ... And it's just, you just want to punch these fucking cretins, because they think you're an idiot. And these guys are the same, because they're, they have rank, they treat these poor guys that have to go into these missions like they're fucking imbeciles, right? First it's 20 missions, then it's 30 missions, then it's 40 missions. You can do whatever you want, as long as you do what we want you to do, etc., etc. This is, my God, it even becomes almost irritating how forward they are with this nonsense. It's like they're telling you right in your face, you cannot do anything about this. You are trapped here. It's like, the only way you can get out of this is by going on a mission and killing yourself, basically, or you hope that somebody hits you and your plane goes down. That's what it comes to. Because there is no way out. There is no exit, no escape. And of course, by the end, Yossarian has to be a traitor almost. He goes he becomes a defector because he can't take it anymore. Because so many of his friends just were alive one day and the next day just died in absurd ways. And the military treat it like it's just nothing. Don't worry. We'll get other people, boy. And that's the catch 22. You can't get out of it because the world is absurd. And it's everywhere. You cannot escape it because it will not allow you to escape. It is a prison. And it is absurd beyond anything else. And real life is exactly the same. Where it's just, even today, I mean, Catch-22 is so relevant today because it is everywhere. This insane rule, even with this fake pandemic, it's like, bro, we all know that these fucking fake face masks won't do anything. They're useless. And it's like, where you gotta wear them. And you're like, why? We all know that they don't do anything, bro. And it's like, well, yeah, but you gotta wear them outside. And, you know, it's the Catch-22. We all know that they're useless, but you gotta wear them anyway. And it keeps on going. And it's just sad to witness something like this. You think that something this preposterous can only be found in fucking fiction, in books, right? But, this is a cliche, but reality is, it's not stranger than fiction. Reality is crazier than anything else that comes from the imagination. It is it is hilariously insane what is happening right now. And this book, it's so relatable because everything that is so ludicrous, the idea, the silliness of the absurd that is so geniusly portrayed in this book, we're living it right now, bro. And it's like, can people see this? Do they understand? This is a joke. We're being played for fools here. And the only thing you can do is just laugh. Because at least you know that there is a catch. And there will always be a catch. And that is Catch-22. Keep on reading. It might save your life. Or it might drive you crazy. But it is suitable than just living like a sheep and wearing your mask, because that's how it should be, right?